Hola, how are you doing, folks? I was so excited to get as many questions on my LinkedIn AMA, Ask Me Anything, for the very first time. So I said, why not? Why don't we record a live session so that I can respond to your the questions in real time? And I promise I'll make some kick-ass screenshots in order that you will really fully comprehend that. So let's kick off this session and let's start reading questions from the AMA that we had on LinkedIn. So the first questions come from our dear friend Anuj, who used to work for growthhackers.com, and I met him here on the conference in Slovenia, and he's this incredible data science guy who, by the way, part-time lectures on Harvard and just issued a book called Growth Hacking for Dummies. And just to quickly warm up the scene, he asked, how can I be half as awesome as you? Absolutely no idea, brother. Love what you do, what I do. I believe that you are feeling the same way about your life. I'm trying to keep good vibes, like with exercising practically daily, with meeting new people, with getting this whole spectrum of different energies in my life. But other than that, I just consider myself to be a very blessed and happy person because my marriage is good, my friends are amazing, my family is loving, and I'm just grateful for all the gifts that I'm getting in life. So how to be half as awesome as you? That's probably not the question that you should be asking in the first place. It's how to be the best version of yourself, which I believe you absolutely are. So thanks for warming things up, and let's see what else do we have. Oh, we have a question from Ange. So content-wise, is it better to focus on a narrow niche in your posts or to go with a broad variety of topics? All right, that's a very good question. Let's see how I have this handled. So here is a very funny screenshot. It's actually like a content pillars map that I keep about my table. And every time that I'm lacking of ideas what to post on LinkedIn, I come back to see what's on brand for me. And its structure is pretty simple. So first pillar is like what? The science that I'm doing, what's going on with me, live events, stuff that I stand for. The second stuff is how. So how am I delivering the value to my target market? And in my case, that's in form of workshops like Udemy course that I co-teach with Easel. Then we have like one-on-one trainings and sort of other stuff that we are doing. And these are the reports of what I'm actually doing, more or less. Right now, we transitioned in terms of Corona and everything what's going on into online workshops. So I've been absolute passionate user of Miro for the last 2 weeks. But other than that, this is like how methodologically I'm dealing with things. The third pillar, which is my personal favorite, is how. So, is why. Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? So what's the purpose behind it? And my whole notion was like, empowerment is so much better than dependency. That was what was bothering me at the beginning. So I started my career as a teacher by heart, and my ultimate gist in life, the thing that absolutely gets my juices flowing, is when I see somebody progressing, becoming a better version of themselves, just like making sure that they are 10x of what they've started at. And that's whole of the point of my existence and my work. Other than that, like in terms of empowerment, especially passionate area for me is female empowerment and anti-imposter syndrome and whatnot. I have other quirks, more personal quirks, such as like, let's invite dogs to join us in the offices, in public places, and other things that I kind of stand of as a person. So that's quite important for me on a personal basis. And I don't want to overdo that. But yeah, every like 4th or 5th post is like this. And at the end, you know how it is. If you are shouting yourself that you are the best, the ultimate king of whatever you're doing, it's something, but it's much, 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 much more better if other people say that you are good as well. So the fourth pillar is like kind of a social proof. So things that other people are saying about me, organizations that I'm partnering with, then like shout outs from all the awesome Udemy students that have completed the course, are sharing the certificates. So that's kind of an external validation. I try to include those content pillars to my content plan on, let's say, a balanced basis. So it's not like each week one post from each content pillar. It's more of a mix. And yeah, we'll go back to this document later on. It's just like to present you that there is a plan behind, and some things are like very operational in terms of how, so the workshops that I'm running and events that we are doing, and other things are very personal, are very like what resonates with me as a person. So yeah, I hope that covers that. Definitely wanted to introduce you with this wonderful framework, and I definitely recommend you to do the same for your personal brand or your company's brand. Let's move on. What else do we have here? Oh, Albert says that this is an awesome question. So many different topics to focus on, so many issues to address. What is the most effective way to reach out to people that may find your content interesting? Okay, so we just talked about content pillars. What is on brand for you? That was hopefully insightful for you guys. But right now, how to grow a network. So how to grow like your audience that you are creating your content for. That's a very good question. So later on, we will discuss what is the perfect structure of a post so that it like generates the organic reach that is very important to attract new followers to your network. But other than that, what I think it's very, very, very crucial here is to connect with people in real world. So as you form these connections in the real world, then it becomes like kind of easy to meet them in the virtual world as well. So I'm very diligent as I listen to podcasts and just different pieces of content. I'm always like giving shout outs to people. So, hey, well done. That was amazing. So very awesome. And this is how you form relationship with industry leaders. Later on, you can interact with their post and you build a name for yourself in that perspective. And you see who engages with their content. So that would be like the best way how to make this transition of who already is something in the industry and whom do you want to reach out. By the way, I don't want to be like too theoretical here, so let's just immediately dive into the example. This is like Gabe. Gabe gave an awesome interview for our Udemy course with Ezo, and he's one of the best influencers in terms of social selling and whatnot. And if I'm interested in connecting with Gabe, I would probably start with writing him a very nice invitation. So how did I met him? Thank you for his contribution. I'm eager to connect in order to keep on with his awesome content stuff that he's doing. But let's see what he's doing in terms of activity on LinkedIn. So we'll go to posts. Yeah, and we'll see that a lot of people are engaging with his posts, right? You see that. Fantastic. Let's find a post that is like relevant to us. Maybe this one. And see who engaged with it. Cool, all right. I like presidents. That would probably be an interesting person for me to connect with. Let's see likes. So I'm basically browsing these through their like positions and titles that they have here. As soon as I find something which is like CEO, CMO, some sort of influence related, I would probably be attracted to this. I wouldn't go with people who are into sales because most probably they will start to sell me things or business developer. So these titles are a little bit tricky to have. And my advice would be like helping customers too, or something that you are doing purpose or mission wise. But yeah, that's like how in a nutshell I would approach towards growing my network. The other cool feature, once you become solid at producing posts and have this content stream that is steady and awesome, would be to see who viewed my profile. So that's that. Ooh, this week I haven't been that good. I have to ramp up. Last week I had some really good posts. So let's see who was here. Is anybody interested to me? Senior and common connection. Yeah, that's probably the person that I would like to connect with. Then I have someone else, Chief Creative Officer. Yes, why not? And this is how I would basically interact. By creating my own content stream, I see who engages with my posts, right? And I can also piggyback on influencers in my scene areas in order to see who else would be awesome to connect with to spread my network. And right now we have to continue by answering the questions. I lost the AMA link for now, but no worries, I'll find it in no time. And we'll hear again. All right, we handled Bert, we handled Ange, Anush, that's awesome. Oh, now the value bump. All right, so Jure really will make me run for my money. He set up like 10 questions, and let me try to be as specific as I possibly can in order to deliver the best value for him and to you guys. The first one is there any structure or framework that you use creating the posts here on LinkedIn? Absolutely, brother. Oh la la. Here it is. So basically, the whole spiel is to grab attention in the first two lines of the prose, which should be a little bit heartbreaking, a little bit provocative, or just like something that completely like gets your juices flowing. I always try to create LinkedIn first content. So I'm not sharing external links if I possibly can, so that the algorithm doesn't sanctionize me, that I'm sending people away from the platform. Native content, we always have bigger reach than links that you are sharing externally. And these numbers, like in the cases that I'm handling, are 1 to 4 approximately. So if you go with an external link, it will have 1/4 of the reach that your native content should have. So I've been winning with my native content pieces, and let's dive into those certain details. So first two lines are absolutely crucial. You just need to grab your attention there. Absolutely. The second one are just like these fragments of value that you are giving to your audience. I always try to make things hyper personal, and I'm using emoji language as well as like verbal language, so that I can really, really, really make a personal influence to the post. I'm using a lot of my pictures because luckily I used to go to a lot of events. Right now it's a little bit different, but hey, things will go back normal soon, one day or another. So pictures have been absolutely important part of my communication strategy. And the very last thing that I would mention is to find 2 to 5 like hashtags that you could be trending for, and we'll go back to this in a minute. So I sometimes try to tag people. I don't necessarily like that if it is intrusive, but if I think that it is connected with their subject, that's perfectly okay. As you know, engagement in the first hour after you post is absolutely crucial. So I know that if I will get at least 20 engagements and possibly like 5 or 10 comments, I know that my reach could be like around 20K, which I absolutely like. If I don't get this, I know that it will be just a couple of thousands, which is still great, but it's not like phenomenal for me. And as we see on this AMA, make sure that you are there once the engagement happens. So make sure that you are like commenting and sharing, not just like post and go away for 3 days and come back later. Make sure that you are like engaging with people and following out, because LinkedIn is slow in terms of content, and that what makes it beautiful in a way. It's so important that you are like engaging on a daily level. And I'm not saying that you should write awesome and congratulations after under all the posts that you are getting. I definitely recommend you to be personal and to form relationship. But yeah, algorithm wise, that definitely makes a difference. You, sir, had a lot of other questions, so let's rush this a little bit. What is your number one advice when you would give to someone who wants to get more reach and new followers? Create good content. Yeah, I would say actually give shout outs, express sincere admiration to people, just like tag them, congratulate them, say that they influenced your way in one way or another, so that you can kind of piggyback on their reach. It's important to come up with a sincere place in your heart, so that you are not giving like this random crap to people. But if you are sincere and if you are like consistently doing that, your network will inevitably grow. Before I showed you like this advice, how to create like new outreach with content and how to make sure that your audience is growing and that you are following up with them. But in a way, like how I did it is from my personal branding. Udemy helped greatly on that, because just exposure to people, to who am I and what I'm doing has been phenomenal there. And that definitely helps if you are there, like presenting on events as a person, if you are like engaging in the professional subject, that will definitely help you to build your personal brand on LinkedIn and elsewhere. Um, Bottom line, go out of the building, connect with people, form meaningful relationship, and eventually it will, things that don't scale will become scalable, and that's the beauty of it. Exactly. All right, let's move forward. Wow, we have, what do you do differently than other people here on LinkedIn? This. I'm always trying to invent like new stuff, some experiments. So on December, I was posting every day in order to test how it influences my LinkedIn reach. I'm always trying to produce original content and to project my original thoughts. um, I mean, in terms of format, what sort of post structure do I have and whom am I connecting with? It's not that drastically different. But I believe that by constantly innovating and being in touch with good practices, for example, like Gabe is awesome, you know, who else is awesome? Um, I think it's Dave, right? Yeah, it's Dave Gerald. I don't know. He's a great guy to follow. So he used to work for Drift. Now he's in Privy. The other awesome guy is from CXL. Let's try CXL. So it's Pip. He's a little bit provocative. He definitely has his own voice, but in terms of content, he's amazing. And the very last person that I would recommend you to follow content-wise, because they are super original and awesome, is G. Oh my God, Mr. G from Drift, mad scientist. Yeah, I cannot find him right now because I'm not very good at French spelling, but it's Mr. G, who used to work as mad scientist for Segment and later on moved to Drift. Right now he's running his own agency and he's an absolutely stellar person to follow on LinkedIn. This is how you get like fractions of ideas for your own content. But other than that, I would just like say, throw your guts out and try something new every single week when you are making your content plan. That's pretty much it. All right, we have to return to the AMA. Where were we? Oh, we're still answering Yura's questions. Oh, what's the number one mistake that people make while posting regular? I see people posting all the time, but receiving only a few likes. Exactly. LinkedIn is slow, so the ultimate frequency is to post 2 to 3 times a week and definitely keep the original edge. Consistency matters. It's definitely cool to post regularly, but I wouldn't overdo it. So when I posted daily, my reach went wrecked. It was like 1/10 on what I used to see, and this is stuff that I like proved empirically that it just doesn't pay off to post daily or multiple times a day. Some of the best examples here on LinkedIn right now are Gymshark CEO, Gymshark CMO. Those are one of the best people that you can follow in the industry. So I would say keep relevant and make sure that you are consistent, but don't do it too frequently because you know how it is. People get saturated with stuff, and especially like for the last 2 weeks, people have been like tunnel visioning what's going on in the environment. So yeah, this week's reach has been down, but good content still finds its own audience, and these are the stuff that you should be aiming towards, to produce original stuff and to really deliver value to your audience every single time, brother. The fifth question is, how is it possible for someone who is not an expert on their field to build a strong following and get maximized reach and likes on their posts? Oh, interesting. So what's not an expert and what is an expert is a philosophical question here. You can specialize like in a very narrow field. I know that's like personally for you, your LinkedIn post about Facebook advertising strategy has been very popular. I built my LinkedIn audience with one article on LinkedIn here, which has been about crowdfunding. So just make sure to produce good case studies, good examples. Too little people are doing that. So it's relatively easy. I'm not saying easy per se, but relatively easy to build your expertise in a very niche area and just like be recognized for it. That's pretty much it. How is it possible for someone who, oh, we covered that one. So let's go on. Where do you find inspirations for your post? Pretty much, brother, my weekly calendar and stuff that is like real. So for example, right now when there are a lot of issues with remote work and whatnot, I am dealing with these content pieces as well, to just like observe what's out there and react to it quickly. That's in a nutshell what I'm doing and what I actually love doing, because that keeps me agile, so that it's not like I have to write post 25 growth hacks how to be successful in LinkedIn. It just, hey, I just thought out of that, let's give it a shot. That works better for me as a person, but yeah, some people need more structure. What kind of content doesn't work on LinkedIn for you? OMG. Do you really want to know that? Let's find it. Let's find it. That was a very interesting mishap that I did once. So naturally, your reach will be much lower if you are resharing content or if you are resharing like external links, right? That's a sanction per se. But I will show you like a radically interesting example right now from my own activities when I thought that I will be making this awesome inspirational post, but things went wrecked pretty quickly. So yeah, let's find it. Let's find it. Where are you? You're hiding, as you should be, because you didn't deliver. All right, here are some of the best sellers. Let's find the ugly duck. Where are you? Oh, that's the devil. Look at this. So I want it to be like very inspirational and very like kind of zen about things. And I posted a photo of me being like in a private countryside spa, but you see here that like nothing is really shown, right? This is not like profanity picture. It's like hello, relax yourself, have a weekend off thingy. And I really went on and off to create these magnificent bullets that absolutely explain my life philosophy. But look at this, rich. What other people? What happened here is that algorithm sanctionized me. They didn't like this photo, probably I was marked as a nudity picture or something like that. And it literally shitted, like, it was tough for me to comprehend that, because if you see reach on other posts, everywhere, whatever I do, I am at least over 1,000, right? So that came as a big shock to my life. And my number one advice would be, don't post half naked picture. The second one would be, don't post too many external links or just reshare things. Make sure to focus on your original content. Thank you so much for this question. It was fun. Right, the other one, what kind of content? That's what we did. Does work for me on LinkedIn. Does work for me on LinkedIn. I would say hyper personal content, meaning that I'm exposing some stuff that is kind of delicate to people. For example, on one of the posts in the past, I was focusing on how important it is to raise your hand in the audience. That was a very good one. So to challenge yourself to go outside the comfort zone, just like this managerial / teamwork thingy, HBR related content. That's absolutely my bestseller. Then the other type of content that works spectacularly well for me are my pieces of research. So that one was incredible when I did this experiment in December. That was kick-ass as well. To just share some data with my community, that resonated beautifully. That was totally awesome. And high quality pictures from events and interesting screenshots. That would be my go-to formats. Sometimes I play a little bit with just some social proof so that people enjoy my workshops and whatnot, or some personal pictures, which I, thanks God, have, because I used to go on a lot of events. Here is another one. So this one is about empowerment and how important it is to speak up. So that's my third content pillar, if you remember. Why am I doing the stuff that I'm doing, which totally has sense for me to my personal brand? Do you think images are playing a big role? Yes, because I'm not native and I know how to do a good picture, but text-wise, somebody who's native will always beat me. So yeah, brother, that's kind of my best shot. So what kind of images? Me lecturing, me being in full action, screenshots of the tools that I'm using, methods that I'm building, post-its. Post-its are extremely attractive to people. They just get attractive to bright colors or something like that. I know there is an explanation what's that. But yeah, that always plays some active role for me as well. If you're sharing these snippets, how do you get stuff done? Lately, screenshots of Zoom meetings for the teams have been performing very well. So these are the snippets of our cool working life that we have, and always the achievements. That's very important as well. Personally, I haven't tried a lot of stuff with video because I'm not very competent in terms of producing short videos. I'm just like to talk a lot, but I definitely keep the high quality content, so that's not my worry, but that's not my natural format in a way. My natural format are LinkedIn native posts, so up to 1,200 characters, 1,300 maybe, and a picture. That would be my winning combo for the post. And the last one, last but not least, how much work in terms of hours do you put to creating content for LinkedIn each week? Boom. This is my weekly plan for LinkedIn. So every Sunday, I sit down for an hour. I write my posts for my personal profile, for my company profile. My husband reviews them. He's absolute sweetheart for doing that. And this document literally takes me 1 hour to finish. I'm not scheduling posts. This is what I have to be honest about, because later on in a week, I can still tweak them a little bit or just like choose the right emojis. I don't want to have them preset because there is always something that I would like to change. But everything together, like in a nutshell, it probably takes me up to 3 hours a week to interact and prepare this content for LinkedIn. This week it will probably be more because we are recording. We had a AMA, but I'm trying to get the scope down to like less than 4 hours a week because, you know, it's important for the brand, but it's not something that directly add value to my business. In a very short term, it does bring new leads and it is important for my personal branding, but still, you know, I'm trying to find a healthy life balance between my activity spent on social media, also due to technology detox and whatnot. I like to enjoy life a little bit as well, to be frank. All right, then we have, what is your one driver on your journey? And this is actually my biological brother. So before Jure was a brother from business, now it's my real brother. This is why, my dear, here are the data of how many people visited my LinkedIn profile in the last 90 days in comparison with how many people visited my page. And you see that I'm just getting so much better traction on LinkedIn and the content stays there much longer. If you, for example, see this slide when I posted the exact same thingy on LinkedIn/Facebook, LinkedIn in terms of likes and engagement, you see, got very, very, very big reach, which I don't know for Facebook from my personal profile, but you can just like compare. Look here on the left picture is 90 likes or something. Here it is like 233 likes. So you can see that LinkedIn is so much more generous in terms of organic reach for your personal profiles. So that's why. Apart from the fact that I love you guys and I love to be connected with you all. That's fun. That's really, really, really fun. All right, then we have Nika here with another batch of questions. Do you ever run out of content to post? Never. I have a system that prevents me from doing that. My personal calendar, I might have my content pillars, and then I find like other things that I'm inspired by, what other people are doing, and I give them like honest shout outs. So the answer is never. Second, do you plan any of your posts in advance or just get on point when the time is right? I plan everything in advance. Success is not a coincidence. Well, sometimes it is. I just created this cute meme today, which went absolutely awesome on social media. But other than that, like to be consistent, I know myself that majority of evenings, I'm just not going to enjoy like, oh, screaming at the blank status, like what should I write? So I reserve 1 or 2 hour slot on Sunday in order to generate that through the weekend and make sure that I can be here for you guys and deliver consistently. And the third one, what is the one thing you wish you knew when you started building your profile? How important the brands are. Really, like when you are starting on a workforce, this will sound like a little bit provocative, but I'm really telling this from your heart. Brands that you are associated with are a huge booster of trust and just like your digital reputation. So I would be very strategic, even more strategic about the fact that I want to have big numbers and brands that people know on my profile. I mean, I'm not doing bad, don't get me wrong. It's just like if I would be like 20 again, I would make sure to do an internship on a corporate profile, not to go like directly into SMEs and just like have these vanity brands in my profiles, because these are like kind of the stuff that gets you by for years to come. So one project that I did for Google and Rocket Internet are like, in an eyes of somebody who doesn't know me more important than whatever I'm doing with my company. And it pains me to say that, but this is how it is. These are familiarity elements. So you search for confidence in numbers, interactions, and in brands and people that you know. So I would be very strategic about that had I had the opportunity to turn back the time. All right, Theo here. Awesome. Why did you not go for engagement pods or sponsored content? Sponsored content, really simply, you cannot do it if you are a personal profile. I would consider trying that out on my page, on my business page, but right now for me, it's just not that relevant. I have a lot of success by using like Sales Navigator with some clients to just like invite them to meet for meetings if they're in a certain town or something like that. But with advertising, like it makes sense if you are selling something that is like quite pricey, if you can afford like $75 to $100 per lead thingies, which is absolutely possible. But just pointing this out, that it's not like LinkedIn, the Facebook unit economics in terms of advertising. So that has been like kind of a deal breaker for me so far. Engagement pods, I tried lemon pods, and don't get me wrong, guys, I really love their content. But as I tried their like Chrome plugin, without my like any curation, what happens is that they are like literally hijacking your profile. So when I was reviewing the activity, I saw that like they were commenting on my behalf, hashtag tracking on some shit posts that I never would engage with on a personal level. And I was like, okay, there are two ways how to do this. I can be authentic, I can be strategic about things, I can do this in a long run, or I can just let go to these shitty engagement points, which have absolutely no idea about quality. And that was kind of not a very difficult decision for me from that point, because I want my profile to look personal, and it's very important for other people to know that I'm standing behind, I'm writing. And as soon as automation kick in, it's just lost. It's just hijacked by automation. It's scalable. Hell yes. If you are using like LinkedIn helper or Eleven pods, you will see immediate number boosts, but will like nurture the right type of relationship. It didn't work for me, but you can try it out yourself. That's probably the best and the most honest answer that I can give you. All right, let's go to ABC Business Academy. What type of content prefers best on LinkedIn? Video, pictures, article, external links, combination on everything. Would love to hear your thoughts. Oh, this, just to summarize. So native posts with pictures have been my bestseller. External links have 1/4 of reach that native posts have. And with videos, I haven't done much experimentation, even though I saw a lot of success with native LinkedIn videos on some of the pages that I helped to grow. But for me personally, I cannot reveal data on that. For me, winning Kobo is still this. So a short tagline, a very like catchy statement, some bullets, some hashtags, maybe tagging somebody, and make sure to have lovely pictures that people can engage with. Talking for me personally here, of course, there can be exceptions. All right, Masha, I love you, girl. You're amazing. Do you ever get asked for case studies of your work? Do you feel like growth hackers need a portfolio? How do you play without legally, since most data is probably confidential? At my age, not really. Reputation and references that I did in past speak their own story, and I'm getting like more than 50 or like 60% of my leads through recommendation, which is amazing. I try to like produce high quality content, but other than that, I don't agree with any data sharing. If I want to have a case study, I ask for it politely. Usually I can do it with smaller companies to just like show some great rates. Big companies will maybe give you a recommendation after like 6 months or something like that if they are satisfied with collaboration. But I wouldn't be too pushy about that anyways, because the type of work that we are doing, I mean, it's a very like reputational based. Would you ask a doctor this question? I don't know. So bottom line, it's important to have some sort of like case studies in terms of anonymized data or just like the types of problems that you are tackling, but you shouldn't like be thinking that each client that doesn't allow you to talk about their numbers like on a very frequent basis is a lost case. Definitely not. You just need like a good win every year that you are doing stuff. Thank you so much for your question. Oh, then we have another bomb from Markalin. All right. Do you have plan for this channel, for example, 2 or 3 posts per week? Yes. What would you advise for somebody opening an account like a young student? I got this question and I'm eager to say that. Oh, fantastic. All right. I would definitely say make sure to use the right keywords in your profile, and let's check it out. So for example, this is one of the people that I have like mentorship relationship with completely voluntarily, but yeah, she's freaking amazing. So look at her. Like, she looks a very legitimate young professional, right? Even though she's far below 25. So what Julia did tremendously right is that she's like stating her references here. Even if they are through college, they are very nice. I would try to have these positions linked with the personal posts, and that's pretty much the only recommendation that I have for this profile. Otherwise, it's kick-ass. I should write her a recommendation. Why not? I mean, I love her. I love working with her. And she just like filled the entire profile. She engaged with some people to give her like a couple of shout outs. She has like these descriptions here, very nicely written. By the way, she did like the coolest thing. She wrote to like CMO of Gymshark, and he invited her for one-on-one mentorship section. Her proactivity, her drive to learn is a big lesson for us all, because just like, you know, if you're not asking, you're probably not gonna get it. So in terms of students' life, volunteer experiences, mini projects that you have, sort of another, and just like making sure that you are connecting with people is hugely, hugely, hugely important. So Mark, tell your students to go and check out Julia. She's amazing. All right, then we have most of the people I know swear on 3 to 5 hashtags. Me too. I'm only tagging people if I feel that I'm giving them a shout out, of if they are like very great experts on a subject. Otherwise, they can find it intrusive, and I personally untag myself whenever I have this feeling that people are piggybacking on my audience, because I just think it's rude and obnoxious. So yeah, 3 to 5 hashtags, and one day when you are lucky, yeah, are we lucky? I don't know, hear about the menu. But yeah, this is where I wanted to take you. I just have to remove this menu a little bit. Ooh la la, here we are. So for example, what you ultimately want with hashtags, right, is that you become this trending post in a hashtag that you are using, so that your network gets a notification. And whenever like that happens on like a very organic basis, you are the happiest person in the world. Is there a rule about it? I don't think so, because this one only had 29 likes and it became aka trending subject. Sometimes posts with 200 likes don't get this status. So that's kind of a still mystery to me, and I just like to keep focused on creating high quality content and connecting with the right type of people. Right. This is more of a personal nature. Do you recommend any channels, groups on LinkedIn? I spoke to some colleagues, and a lot of groups on LinkedIn don't have a big tractions like they do on Facebook. Exactly right. Exactly right, Mark. So the problem on LinkedIn is that posts from groups are not shown in the timeline, and they are very, very, very difficult to discover. If on another hand, we go on Facebook, and I just did like a very cool meme today for Eva. You see, you have notifications here, right? So right now, if I am eager to check out like how this post that I did this morning is doing in a certain group, I can easily do that. But if I hadn't got a notification, I would totally forget about things. So it's just like this in your eyes thingy, notifications to create the habits. It's very, very, very difficult to generate these for LinkedIn groups. I know that like they used to have very aggressive newsletters, but they abandoned them a couple of years ago. So those guys will need a solution. Thank you for that question. That was very interesting for me to explain as well, because I was struggling with that myself. When did you start your LinkedIn journey, and when did you realize there is somewhere serious here? I started it in 2008 as I was a student, and I just felt that it is important to have this professional presence. So up until like 2 years ago, LinkedIn has been like a virtual CV, right? But right now it became a very powerful content generation platform when we can connect with other professionals on a very, let's say, non-embarrassing manner, right? So on Facebook, I just asked my community today, what are top 3 things that you will do after you get free from quarantine? I would never do that on LinkedIn. Come on, guys. So I just like to keep this private slash business part of me. I mean, I am goofing around always, and I always will be. But yeah, to keep some stuff serious so I can still chat with my mother on Facebook. That's exciting. She is not present on LinkedIn at the moment. All right. Thank you so much for the questions, Mark. It's always fun to hear from you. All right. Then we have Marco. In your opinion, which were the most important stepping stone on your journey towards creating such a strong and well-known personal brand among digital marketing scene in Slovenia? To be honest, to be brutally honest, I got acknowledged before like abroad than in Slovenia. And I mean, I love Slovenia. I'm running like this 3K community growth hacking community here with other admins. And I'm absolutely thrilled to have meetups with you guys. But business wise, I have been recognized abroad before I got any traction here whatsoever. I mean, probably they smelled my talent before, but coming across a little bit stronger and a little bit more opinionated, that was like a little bit probably like too much for some people. So as soon as I started to work with Americans and as I moved to the Netherlands to study this growth hacking discipline, I felt that I am where I actually belong. And I had the opportunity to work in Belgium for some years, and that was absolutely awesome for me as a person. But I kind of miss nature and my like core family here. So I was very happy to move back to Slovenia due to personal reasons. But I like to keep track with people abroad because they keep me fresh. And I mean, the generation is changing a little bit. There are a lot of more people with international experience. But when I first like started to work, it was freaking financial crisis in 2009. Things were not pretty, and I needed to. I don't know. For me, it was just like faster to go and generate some references abroad than to just like climb the corporate ladder here, because it would take more time and would probably make me a different person than I am today. Sorry to say that. I know it's a hyper personal thing, but yeah, that kind of was a booster in my career as well, to be international from the first day onwards. Because had I only been operating here on this market of 2 million people, things would be much slower. I firmly believe that things would be much slower. Let's go to Sabina. We have 2 more, 3 more. All right, we'll make it. We'll make it. Sabina is asking, did you often confront with people in the company who had problems to trust you and follow you for your ambition from their company? What do you do when you see not everyone is on board and it may not be key persons on the company? All right. So ideally, I have a very strong buy-in from the leadership of the company. I usually talk money. So money speak is pretty obvious to them. And I move fast and I break things. So it's even if we don't make a mistake, it's not going to cost you a lot. Would you rather like wonder all your life if this is going to work? Or can we have a mini shot at trying this out? I mean, it depends. There are probably like different types of people. I would feel extremely trapped and extremely like unsatisfied in an environment that doesn't allow me experimentation. Experimentation is a very like important thing in my life. My mother was just saying to me that I was like very bad at following instruction as a child. So like to construct stuff from Kinder Egg or Lego, I was not very good at it. I always wanted to find my own ways. And I believe if you have like the brain to tackle unstructured challenges and whatnot, you will sooner or later end up to be either in very innovative high tech company or entrepreneur. You can of course like adjust to the corporate ladder of decision making or find a really awesome agile organization with a cool job that will keep you juices flowing, but it depends on your personal ambition if you want to go through this journey. So my honest advice would be, if you feel trapped about your job, invent a side gig when you can give it your best shot and just like try this skill set. That would be what I would advise here. All right, Ida, is it true that adding external links to LinkedIn posts kill your organic reach? Absolutely. Is it better to leave URL in comments? All right, try it out. Try it out if it is more damaging in terms of clicks that you are getting, but really monitor for clicks, not for impressions. If you are sharing this picture and see link for comments, just like experiment and find your best way how to do that. I'm here with mixed results. When I do this for my personal profile, I'll definitely go for a picture and a link in comments every single day. But definitely you should try this out for yourself, how it performs on your audience, because sometimes lower reach and more clicks can still outbeat like higher reach and less clicks if you are into that. So what metrics are you tracking and how do you want to optimize it for? Just take it for a spin. It's a wild animal, so you should go out and measure stuff. We have Tanya from Expedia. Lovely. What's your LinkedIn contact policy and contact outreach strategy? Do you accept all connection requests? Do you have any direct strangers you never met and follow you? Do you initiate conversation with your newly added connections? If so, what kind of conversation? Is there a script? And what type of content do you give as a hook, if any? I'm so lazy at this, Tanya. Mainly, I'm just like receiving LinkedIn requests. Of course, like we are lucky to have a lot of students from Udemy who would like to connect, which is amazing. Then I showed you before how am I adding people who engage with my content. That's the best. But having seen it here, so how I judge this, okay, these are like from today, from a couple of hours ago. I appreciate common connections that we have together. So that's one is into growth hacking scene, and a lot of people that I trust have accepted him before, so it's why not. This one like actually bothered and write a nice introduction. Let's see if he's going to sell me stuff. I'm helping companies to manage social, you're selling stuff. Nasir, maybe later. This girl, let's see if she's legit, because I like to connect with women, but sometimes there are some, and so let's say that they have like 1,400 followers, that's okay. Yeah, that should be safe. That should absolutely be safe. She's a go-go, and if she's starting to sell things with some business development spam, we can block her later. But in a nutshell, that's like pretty much it. Do we know common people? Have you worked with the companies that I have some sort of faith with? Do you have enough traction on LinkedIn to have something meaningful going on? Do you bother as a person to write a nice recommendation? And for the outreach strategy, that was kind of a first action, question that I answered here. So I believe that we are well covered on that perspective, right? Fantastic. Thank you so much for your question, Tanya. I appreciate having you here. We're here. You should go back to AMA. We have just a little bit more, just a tiny, tiny bit more. Let's see. Who else do we have here? We are nearly done, right? Okay, last but not least, Julia, whose profile I just showed at this screen share. That's very funny. Ask me quantity over quality or the other way around. What do you think, Han? Post regularly 2 to 3 times a week. Make sure that content is really, really, really good and that you are reaching out to new people that you have met or you admire and stuff that you are already doing. I believe that you will be awesome. Look, if you are like adding people on a very like random basis, you will get at least like 40% of people accepting your requests. If you accompany that with like a nice personalized message, you will get up to 80 in no time whatsoever. So you do you, keep on rocking. I love you, girl, and you are a very bright and shiny example for your generation. All right, guys, we wrap it out. That was a fun one, right? That was an awesome one. I really appreciate having you over. Hope that you learned a lot. Hope that you got these hands-on knowledge that you need. Let's just see in terms of slides if there is something else that I need to emphasize. Not really. So that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for pitching in with your questions. If you have any comment, how do you want to do this in future? Let me hear about them. I definitely respect your opinion, and you guys give me a lot of new ideas how we can make it better in future. And that being said, I wish you all a very nice weekend, and voila, ciao. Así es, pues, Nel. No vem. Ok.